right, welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, we've got a true standout in the building. We got the young gun, Chandler Hopkins. He's made waves in AEW, MLW, and all across the indie circuit. From title wins to tough battles, we're gonna jump into his journey. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. What's up, my primo? What's going on?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Good?
Como siempre, I'm doing fantastic.
Well, that's good to hear, man. Happy to hear. Busy week for you, man. Like just wrestling overload. But glad you got it. So why don't you lead us into what's going on today, my man?
So I'm glad you're giving me the time to introduce this episode because I'm super excited. And you know why, primo? I'm excited because today we have a very special guest. This person has lit up AEW, Ring of Honor, MLW, and has held gold across the indie pro wrestling scene. Everything from GCWA to even Booker T's Reality of Wrestling. And this person, we're going to talk about their career highlights, possible dream matches, and what we can expect next. So, you ready for this, primo?
I'm down. I'm excited. I'm looking quite forward to this. Let's have a good time.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the young gun, Chandler Hopkins. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
What's going on, Chandler? How are you,
Hey,
man?
we made it.
Hey.
We made it happen.
Fantastic. Chandler, it's nice to
How we
meet you,
doing?
man. Thank you. Thank
Nice
you for
to meet
joining
you
us
guys,
today,
too.
man. We truly appreciate you giving us whatever time you can afford to give us today. It means a lot to us. Just to have someone of your stature coming in and giving us just a little bit of their time, a lot of their knowledge, and a lot of stories and things that you can let us know both in front and behind the curtain in the wrestling ring.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So, real quick, love the Bucky's hat. Let's go.
I got two of these. I always look for new ones when I go to because I'm secretly hoping they'll release the yellow and black one, like the yellow top with the black one right here. Because I love yellow and black. But I've got a red and black one, and I've got the black. This one. Wait, which one? Yeah,
you have the black one on. Yeah.
Sorry, my camera's over here where you guys are at. My camera's here. I have a Twitch setup, so I have multiple screens going right now. So sorry if I'm looking over here.
You're good. You're good. No need to apologize, my man. You are good.
All right. So okay, Chandler, real quick, right? Because we have a set of questions that we want to jump in and talk about with you and stuff. But I actually have a side question that's not included in these questions that we have for you, right? And
let's do it.
When I was looking at your profile, right, and doing some research, I saw that you were originally from or born in Oklahoma, but then I saw
they just said no. He just said no.
Oh no. Okay.
No.
So
I am from Amarillo, Texas, born and raised. I lived in Oklahoma while I got my start in wrestling. So for some reason, people get those two mixed up. I understand it. It happens all the time. No, I'm not from Oklahoma. I did graduate in Oklahoma because my parents moved there my junior year of high school. So I have brief Oklahoma history. Yes, that's where I started my training and my wrestling career. But I am from Amarillo, Texas, man. The funk's all the way, baby. Don't disrespect Amarillo, Texas.
I just wanted to make sure. because the thing, that's what threw me off, right? Because the Oklahoma piece I saw, but then I also saw a Mexican and Dominican flag on the profile.
Yeah, because that's places that I wrestled before.
Oh, okay.
So the countries that I've gotten to go to wrestle, I like to put the flags up there because it keeps me reminded too, not only like when I look at my profile, like, hey, you've done that, but it lets other people know that I may have been to their country and like, oh, hey, I might want to look out for him. Like, so I've wrestled in AAA a couple times. So I wrestled in El Paso really frequently when I first started wrestling, and that's right there by Juarez. So I've wrestled in Juarez Arena too. So I've gotten to do some things in Mexico. And then this last year, I was surprised with my actual passport. Here in Texas, you don't have to have a passport to go to Mexico. You can walk across the border.
Oh,
country. So because your state, we have the border, you can just walk across. You just have to have your Texas ID. But I finally got my passport as a Christmas gift this last Christmas, and so I went to Dominican Republic early this year, and I got to see how awesome DR was, and like the food. Honestly, and I'm a country boy. I love steaks. I've had some really good steaks at places. DR, hands down, man.
Yeah.
Y'all took the steak game. Y'all took the steak game. So, but yeah, no, sorry to veer off, but yeah, Amarillo, Texas is the home, baby.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason why I wanted you to clarify that, because I was like, wait a minute, is Chandler Latino? Is like, did we miss something?
No. So my mom used to think, for some reason, she always told us, and I don't know, maybe we might be like have like 2%. She used to think we were like Cherokee Indian. And I was like, I ain't never seen no paperwork for that. And I am pale as they come. Like, I'm Irish. There's no way I'm not Irish, you know.
Right.
I've never done the blood thing. So
okay, all right. Well, good. I'm glad you cleared that up, because I was like that. I was thinking about that all day. I was like, wait a minute, Oklahoma.
For your next podcasters, Amarillo Tech. No, I'm just joking. It really doesn't bother me, honestly, because it allows me to I like to tell stories.
Yeah.
So it allows me to okay, cool. I can segue into why it's like that. So it is what it is.
Well, he said it for everybody moving forward, podcasters. It's Texas, Amarillo, Texas. Remember it. Don't forget it.
Don't forget.
So Chandler, let me start off by asking a quick question that you've probably been asked numerous times before, and I'm sorry if I feel like you're repeating yourself. We ask this of all of our interviewees, because Eddie and I, when we first started this, we wanted to look back to what made us, what moment, what match, what memory. Was there a specific thing where you remember that wrestling was something that you fell in love with, and you just knew that you wanted to be, not necessarily be a wrestler, but just be watching wrestling and be involved in it? Like my example was, I remember, being 3-4 years old and sitting on my grandfather's lap, and he would just turn on Lucha Libre or Univision. And I remember just doing that, and that was my bonding time with him. So that's what got me into it. Eddie has
absolutely
was a specific match.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, was it a match? Was it a moment? Was it a feeling? Was it a time frame? Do you recall, or was it kind of something that you just kind of just started and never looked back on?
So yeah, no, I definitely kind of know where it came from. I was very sheltered as a child, so I didn't get to GTV was all that was allowed on my TV at home. My mom was a single mom raising 2 boys, so she wanted us to be as good as we could. So we didn't get to see a whole lot. But when my stepfather came around, I was around about 11ish when he first started coming around, and he was a big wrestling fan. And he worked at a place in Amarillo called Cox Communications, which is a satellite cable company. And he had been working there for a while, and they all started ordering pay-per-views for wrestling. And I was like, what do you mean you're going to go watch wrestling at these pay-per-views? And so he took me with him one time, and we didn't tell mom. It was one of those, what mama doesn't know doesn't hurt her kind of things. Yeah. So we went, and at their base of operations, their compound, the Cox Communications employee station, whatever you want to call it, but they had this big, and I can remember looking up when I walked in, oh my God, we're watching it on this 100-foot projector screen in their offices where they got to watch certain things like that. And so we walk in this room, and I'm like, what are we doing here? There's this big white thing on, and everyone goes up to the top, and they turn the projector on, and I look over, and it's like I'm watching it on the drive-in movies.
Oh wow!
And we were watching Rock Stone Cold in 2001.
Nice.
Wow, okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's that is awesome. And I started getting into it, and he started telling me the stories, and he started telling me why they were doing this and doing that. But he was never fake with me with it. He told me right up front, and this is, I think, kind of what borders what you should and shouldn't say in wrestling. That wrestling was real in some aspects as to what you do to the body, but the stories and who is winning is what they're doing. They're creating a story here, and so those are not necessarily real. And I couldn't comprehend that at the time, because all I could see was these people beating each other up. Right? You're a kid, and you got to have a younger brother too, so we wrestle a lot. And for that to be oh crap, people actually do that. I do that to my brother right now, and I just no one's watching,
Right.
So he really just kind of got me into the aspect of what it was, and that if it was something I wanted to enjoy with him, I had to comprehend that, because that's the only way he was going to get my mom to let me do it with him. Okay. So we watched it, had a blast, all that stuff. Went home and mom was asleep, of course, because it ends late. Right. We wake up the next morning and I go to the breakfast table and I can't wait. I'm sitting there telling her, oh man, Stone Cold did this, Rock did this, and this was great. And I wanted this, everything. And I feel like I overloaded her with a lot of information, and she went straight and woke my dad up. What did you take my son to see? And I can remember in that moment going, I may have like messed up. Oh, come here, Penny. You can come in here if you want. No, I'm sorry. The whole farm's going to come in here. I've got 3 dogs too. So I remember going in, waking him up, and he had to calm her down and like tell her, go ahead, Bubba. Go ahead. He had to go in and like tell her like, yeah, I took him, but I explained everything to him, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it got me to a point where my mom allowed me to start doing amateur wrestling in middle school. And that's where I really fell in love with just wrestling as a sport and not just as an entertainment. I was really good at that as well. My first year, I took home 3rd in just our little county. Wasn't anything big. I never did state tournaments or anything, but the passion I had for it was there. And I knew it was like, that's awesome. But I was also really big into football, and that was my main thing. And in that moment, those years where I was finding wrestling, I was already like the top running back at my school, and I was leading with it's not anything big. It's kids inc football. Like, so you're 12 and 14. You're not playing for a school or anything yet. So it's just for fun. But I knew I had an obligation to them too. So I couldn't just get into it. Years later, I circled back around, and it just was something I fell in love with a few of my high school friends. And from there, it just kind of spiraled. I kept in contact with it left and right. And I was selling cars in Oklahoma. And the dealership I was working for had some tickets they were giving away to one of the WWE shows that came to town because they sponsored some stuff or whatever. So they asked if anyone wanted them, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take them. So show up, do the thing. We went with a coworker, and he's telling me all these things about the stories and why they're doing this and why they're doing that. And I'm at that point, wrestling wasn't cool. Like, if you're a wrestling fan in that era, in that kind of point, it's like you were either with wrestling friends only, or you didn't talk to your friends about wrestling because they made fun of you for it or whatever. But I was like one of those closet wrestling guys at the time, and I loved wrestling, but it was one of those things too, where it was like, it wasn't important enough to like, I'm really loving this stuff too. So I started telling him about all the stories, like, oh, you really love this stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. We start going back and forth, and he asked me if I want to go to an indie show, and I was, what's an indie show? Yeah. Never even heard of this, right? And I think that's where the passion really came from. Once I seen the indie show, it was for a company that I'm not going to name because it's just not worth it at this moment to give them any credit for my success that I feel like I've earned. They were having a show, and in the middle of the intermission, they were saying they were having training and tryouts coming up in the next few months. And I was watching these guys wrestle in the ring, and it's just a normal indie show, so it's nothing spectacular, but it's right there, and you're like, oh man, that would hurt, but they're kicking each other's ass. And I was just like, I could do that. I was still in decent shape. I had just got through playing semi-professional football, so I was needing something. I was needing like a passion, a love, something to actually dig into, because I could sell cars, and it was fine. I had a decent lifestyle, but I wasn't happy. It wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I knew since I was a kid, it was a sport, athlete. I was an athlete. That's just what I was going to do in some aspect. So I thought about it, and the thinking about it lasted just that night. And I woke up that next morning, and I said, when I get to work, I'm going to send them an email and see what they need, and I'm going to submit my application. I got there, did it, and honestly, I hit enter. And I remember getting up from my little station there at the place. I remember getting up and turning around, going to the coffee pot, made myself a cup of coffee, and I was fixing to walk straight out to the front door to get on the line so I could start waiting to see so I could get car sales. If you weren't out in the front, you weren't making no money in car sales. Right. Mm-hmm. So I start to walk back past my station, and I always have my notifications on for emails and any kind of alerts from my boss. If I'm walking around, I knew, okay, cool. Because if not, you're wasting time and wasting money by just sitting outside when something's going off waiting for you, but you just don't know.
Right.
So I always have my alerts on. Walking by and I hear ding, ding, ding. I was like, okay, let's check that out. That's 3 of them. 1, cool, no problem. Check something, come back. Ding, start hearing the more. Let's check it out. So I checked it out, and it was the school. They had emailed me back, and they was like, yeah, send us a like background of what you've done and stuff, and a few like just pictures of your body so we know what to expect whenever you get here. Do you have any athletic experience? So I start filling this thing out. Get everything they want. I send it over. All right, cool. Walk up to the front line. Outside, maybe 15, 20 minutes. Come back inside to check, and I've got stuff sitting there waiting for me. Yes, we would love to have you come down and look at our training school. When would you be available? And at that moment, it moved so fast, I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to do it because as a car salesman, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you are not allowed off. You were working. And so I knew I had to go in and talk to the managers and see if they would clear it before I could even say yes to this guy. Either that or I was going to be jobless. And that would have been tough at that moment. So I went in and talked to him, made a deal, and I told him, I was like, if I keep my same numbers, because I always kept my numbers, always kept everything where they needed it. I was like, if I keep my same numbers and I do it Monday through Thursday, can I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday so I can chase something that might be my last opportunity? And I'll never forget when I looked at Don and he looked at me, and then he looked back at Michael, and they were 2 of my cool managers. They were 2 that got like chasing the dream. They understood like going what you wanted. And like they kind of looked at each other for a second, and they looked back at me and they go, you keep the same numbers, not one less. You can do it. But the second you drop, you have to choose. We're not telling you to stop your dream, but we got to have business to run too. So we'll work with you if you'll work with us. And I felt the partnership there. So I did that. And they worked with me for a year. And I drove 2.5 hours away from where I was staying in Oklahoma City to Ardmore, Oklahoma. I did it every Friday, drove down, drove back. I did it every Saturday, drove down, drove back. And I did it every Sunday, drove down, drove back. It wasn't until about 6 months into training that the trainer that was training us said, hey, I've got an extra room. I see that you're driven and you want to be here. If you want to stop wasting money on driving back and forth, you can stay at my place on the weekends as long as you can continue training and you don't miss your stuff. And that's what I did. And all that led up to where we're at now. So kind of just to fast track that last part, but that's how I got into wrestling.
I mean, that's great. That's dope of your management team to be that cool with you and be cool with seeing someone who has a dream in front of them and just being like, we can balance our business with someone who has a dream as long as both parties participate. And that sounds really like that's great, man.
It was very rare, and honestly, I expected to get shut down. It was because it just wasn't. It's not heard of in any kind of like sales, honestly, to have those days off. So,
oh wow. So now, all right, Chandler. So now I have a question, right? In our research, we also saw that you are known as the Young Gun, right? And
yes, sir.
What I wanted to know, how did that nickname come about, and then also, what does it mean to you personally?
Y'all like Westerns?
Yeah. My father's a big Clint Eastwood guy, so I've seen some. Yeah.
Got good taste. So 2 of my favorite movies ever are 2 Westerns, Tombstone and The Young Guns.
Yeah, Tombstone.
The Young Gun, and the reason I took the moniker The Young Gun is based off Billy the Kid. Young in the business. Didn't really have anywhere to go, but started with a random family. Was really quick and really good, had the intelligence, but didn't know how to use it. So the Young Gun became Billy the Kid in my early years. Quick on the gun, no one quicker. I could outthink you. The later years, the Young Guns kind of become White Earp, where I've got that knowledge now. I've been there, I've done that. September will be 9 years for me, and let me look at my phone real quick. I'll tell you how many matches I've had. I keep a note.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Dope.
See, where's match number? It was last updated 5/3 of 25. I don't know if y'all can. Let's see if I can. I hate people like, oh yeah, I just added that. So I might not be able to see there.
Yeah, it's a little
5,
yeah.
But the match number is 804.
840?
804.
804,
wow.
804, 804.
804 in 9 years. So
Wow.
that's a lot of matches.
Yeah, it's
for a guy who's almost been in 9 years. So these later years of the young gun is really Wyatt Earp, the seasoned sheriff that everyone fears. I'm not saying people fear me, but people now know when I get in the ring with me, like they know what to expect. And it's not just like, oh, maybe he's going to be good. Maybe he's not. 804 matches. And I'm sorry, but I've yet to feel like I've failed in one of them because that's how much pressure I put on myself.
Yeah.
When I left the job, I told myself if I did it, if I went all in on wrestling, it was 120% or nothing. It was all in because this is my last shot. I mean, I don't know if many people know how old I am. I look a lot younger than I am, but I'll be 36 in June.
Wow. Okay.
So this is my last shot. I started at 27. If I don't make it here, sports are done for me. But I do know one thing. If I don't make it as a wrestler, with the knowledge that I've gained, the people that I know, and the things that I've been able to do, there's a spot in wrestling for me somewhere. I could be an agent. I know how to storytell. It's proven track record. I know how to help train. I've helped train at several different places. I'm in a good spot where I love to teach. I want to have a training school one day. So hybrid here in San Antonio, they have given myself and Velvet an opportunity to go in there and train anytime we want. And
nice.
Those guys and girls are some great talent that we get to work with all the time. And it's a benefit for us and a benefit for them because we get to see them grow, and it's a magical thing. It's freaking awesome. And I love to see where they were when we first moved here. Not that it's all us. Chris Marvel is, if you don't know who Marvel is, Chris Marvel, you should look him up. Dude is brain-wise, if I'm running low on something and I'm like, hey, I got everything, but I'm missing a piece. What do you think? He's the guy. Just, wow. Sorry, he is. But yeah, those guys and girls up there at Hybrid, they're great. Where are we going? I kind of got sidetracked there for a second. Help me backtrack into that.
With Young Gun, Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp is, so the later years is Wyatt Earp. If you're watching the recent stuff at Reality Wrestling, you're seeing like the more gritty side they're starting to try and pull out of the young gun. You may have heard the announcers call me the shooter. There is, in the young gun's mind right now, there is transitioning happening from the young gun to the shooter. The shooter now, you said he was one of your favorite guys to watch when he was younger, right? Clint Eastwood. That's who the shooter has to become. He's got to be the cowboy that everyone is starting to recognize as the next one. We know who Hangman is. Right. Dude's amazing. Hangman Adam Page. If you watched him and Ospreay the other night,
yeah, I saw that match. Wild.
I did. Yeah, that was insane. That was insane.
So I'm just saying, man. Hangman's the cowboy right now, but there's got to be someone next. I feel like I have put in that time, that effort, and it's my time now. And I'm going to show everybody the next variation of the young gun and who he evolves to. And that's going to be someone like Clint Eastwood.
That so grizzled, cool. Seasoned, so cool. Like veteran. That like just
we got to do it, baby.
That's
wow, do it. Look at Jericho, man. Y2J. I mean, the list, all these things that he does. Wrestlers, I think, also don't realize like sticking with one certain thing for too long isn't always as great. And I see that doing that as the moniker I've done for 9 years also isn't that great. But I'm on the indies, and I've got to. If it's not a constant, you get forgot in the indies. Right. Once you get to a main level, cool. Then we can start doing Y2J, the list, freaking Fozzy. We can start now. We can start doing it to the masses. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Nice. Well, I mean, speaking of the indies, you say you're keeping your name because on indie promotions you have to be, visible in there, and they have to remember you. So, across all of the independent promotions that you've wrestled with, the major promotions, MLW, Ring of Honor, AEW, things like that, what experience so far in any of these has meant the most to you? And why? What was where you had that moment where you're like, oh man, like this is real?
So I'd say there's probably two places. One of them's going to be kind of a shocker, I think, to most people, because whenever I do talk about them, I talk about them with grace and kindness because I do think they're a great company. But it's usually about the contracts they offered me that were jack shit. But MLW, I wrestled low key at MLW, and I had just wrestled AAA, and some people there had seen me. It was Conan, and he had told Saint Laurent and Court Bauer about me, and they let me come in and wrestle low key. And when that flyer dropped that next night, I woke up the next morning to low key's gonna kill you, like all this stuff about how rough Loki is, how he's a mercenary, how this, how that, and I'm just like, oh shit. I'm wrestling low key at MLW. This is gonna be freaking great.
Yeah.
We get there, and honestly, Loki was the greatest. He let me be me. He asked me, and as a seasoned vet, the things that he had done even at that time, to look at me, a guy who had been in the business 4 years, and go, what are you good at? What do you want to showcase? And who are you as a wrestler? What's your character? And he let me tell him that. And he didn't just say, this is what you're going to do. This is what we're going to get done. And I got to get out of here because I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I went out and I had maybe a 7-minute match with Loki, TV style. But it was one of the most memorable, not only because of the match and people said he's going to kill me, but the fact that I stood my own, and afterwards he shook my hand, in which the announcers say, hey, you don't get that from Loki often at all. I get through the curtain, Loki's right behind me. Hey man, that was great. We need to talk as soon as I get a chance. The photographer calls me over, BZ. He's like, yo, bro, I got a freaking sick ass picture of you. Let me show you. And it's me doing the shooter, because I did the shooter in the match and he thought I was doing a frog splash. So he had like an undershot of the buckle, and it's on my Instagram. I shared it many times, but it's like an undershot of the buckle. But when I do I jump off, he thought I was frog splashing, but I flip and it's my face looking straight into the camera, my body curved perfectly in the shooter form. And so he shows me that. And the second I come back from doing that, George St. Laurent and Court Bauer are like, yeah, that was great. Yeah, we won. So I'm offered contract. Cool. Not taking it. Sorry. Wouldn't have been worth it. I made more on the indies. Gave him a rebuttal, something I was okay with doing. And it wasn't really a budge. So respectfully, I declined and I moved on. MLW was a great time. I've always enjoyed that match. It's probably one of my favorite matches. I just hate that I feel like it's always such a negative thing when it comes to MLW, which it shouldn't be. It's very positive, but I said no to him and I haven't heard from him since. So, the other one, AEW, and I think we all kind of know why. Wrestling gave me the love of my life. And that is something that will be the best thing forever.
Can you ask for anything more?
No,
like when you find really the one and you know it's there, like, not to sound cheesy, like when you know that's what it is, like
it
that
happened.
love is real, man. That's amazing, so brother. Awesome. That's you touch a brother heart, man. That's
sorry, man. It came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting anything of it. Like, I was just working hard. It was at AEW with her the whole time. We really didn't ever even talk. It was just one of those things where we were in areas where we were in the same area, and things start to go in certain areas, and one thing led to another, and they're speaking of the devil. You
hey
yeah, she can't hear you because I got you in here, but we were just talking about you. But yeah, those are the two. AEW gave me her, and MLW gave me probably one of my favorite matches ever with Loki.
Oh, so that's awesome. Oh, man. All right. So now, in this in-depth research that we continue to do, right, we also came across a couple of things that stated that you have been actually compared to performers like Shawn Michaels and The Rock. And, those are huge comparisons, right? And
Wade Barrett, Austin Aries.
But what I wanted to ask was, with names like that, who were your biggest influence once you first started training? Who did you want to model yourself after? Or, I mean, like pick and choose things that will ultimately create the young gun that is now,
Right. So I mean, two of them are two of those guys that most people have named because I love to sell. I don't know what it is. It's just there's some kind of adrenaline you get whenever you can show people not only just with words but with action, with gestures, with emotion, with certain looks on your face, and get reactions and make them feel what you want them to feel. So Shawn Michaels is one of the best at that. Him and Dolph Ziggler will probably go down as two of my favorite sellers of all times. It's just an art form in itself, and to hear people say that, it is nice because I do model myself after Shawn a little bit. I mean, obviously the look is somewhat similar, but at the end of the day, Rock and Stone Cold, the intense altercations that Undertaker would deliver just with a look. There's just so many. The way Mick Foley can make you love him one minute and hate him the next. Like, there's all these things these people would do for you that make you want to do wrestling. But yeah, Shawn and probably the other two that would have to be tied is The Rock and Stone Cold, just because those are the two people that I first watched ever. Like, boom, those two guys there, and to see them do the things they were doing in that match, and the cutters, the rock bottoms, the people's elbow, the crowd going wild every single moment of it. It was just one of those things where I want to do what they're doing. And the best way to get where they were at is to do what they did to get there. And they were all great in their own ways. They had unique move setups. They had interaction with the crowd. They had great like finishers. Finisher, I feel like, is something impactful that you must have that fits you as a person. If it's the same thing as someone else, cool. But Shawn with a quick super kick could beat anyone. You could hit a rock bottom out of nowhere, and Stone Cold would flip you off and hit you with that Stone Cold Stunner, even if you didn't want him to hit it on you. He was going to do it. The attitude, the model, the interaction that all three of those have, I think is something that I've always wanted to make sure I brought as a wrestler, because to me, entertainment is a big part of what we do. We are wrestlers. This is a sport to us. We are professional athletes. I'm not sure, other than hockey, any other professional sports that hit just as hard all day, every day. Football used to hit.
Yeah, now they're protecting hard. A lot. Yeah. So.
Anyways, wrestling has evolved, and it's a sport. But those would be the three, I think.
Yeah, and side note, you do a tremendous job selling, because I rewatched the dark match that you had with Team Taz and AEW.
Oh man,
and Powerhouse Hobbs just destroyed. But I'm like, you did such a fantastic job selling.
You want a little insider tip on that little spot since you mentioned it? Brian Cage is on the apron in that one, and he's one of my best friends, and he has a hand in getting me to AEW. So shout out B Cage, appreciate you, Bubba. But he told me when we got back to the back, he was like, when he hit you with that freaking splash and you hit the mat, you sold up. I was like, ooh, that's the perfect sell. I was like, yeah. I was like, I had to do it. So, I mean, it's a big guy, and I might be decent size to some people, but in that aspect, I was the little dude. So it made sense. But yeah, that sell it's still one of my favorites too, just because of the interaction with Brian afterwards. I think though it hurt. Hobbs is solid, man. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. And just be like, yeah, I'll just take a running splash from you, sure, brother. Brick wall.
Yeah. But it's not just him. It's mostly like what I've seen with you is matches with big guys, because I also saw the AJ Francis one too. And I'm just like, man, you made that guy look like $1 million. I mean, he already does. Don't get me wrong.
Of course. He's money. Yeah. You know, I still want gold though, AJ. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I like the big guy, small guy story. I think everyone knows David and Goliath. It's not that it's easy to tell, but there's a lot of different ways you could tell it.
Right.
You know, David doesn't have to win all the time, and Goliath doesn't have to win all the time. And you can make it interesting. You could chop down the beast slowly, or you can knock him down with one shot. It depends.
Right.
And he can swat you away like a fly, or he can be like, this guy is pestering me. Why can't I kill him? It's fun to tell. And I enjoy working with big guys too, because you're forced to tell stories. And that's what wrestling is. Wrestling was always storytelling. We've gotten to the point now, I think, where we forget that a little bit, and we like to just go, hey, I've got this cool thing I want to do. But do you need to do it?
Right.
Like, if you want longevity in this business, the think smarter, not harder is not just like a thing the old guys are telling us. It's a real freaking thing. Like,
yeah,
your body's going to give up at some point, whether you think it is or not. Osprey, you are a beast, man. And I hope you can hold that out, because I would love to watch you keep wrestling for at least 10 more years. I think you're right on the prime. But man, the way you wrestle, it's tough to see you walk out there beat up like that. You know he's hurting. I've been there. I mean, doing that every freaking night, I can only imagine. Like,
well, I mean, they say it for a reason. Father time is undefeated. You know, I mean, the body doesn't heal like it used to. It's gonna take its toll. And what you guys do to put yourself through all of that for the love of the sport and for the entertainment of the fans is just fantastic and unbelievable. And you know, Eddie, speaking about the dark match that you had in AEW, I believe your AEW debut was against Lance Archer.
The Dynamite debut, it was. I debuted on Elevation against Joey Janela.
I'm sorry, Joey Janela was the Elevation. Was that,
yes.
So that was earlier. That was the first. That was
my very first ever match I had with him. I had a 15-minute banger with him.
Okay, so now that's the televised match in AEW. Walk me through the end of the match and how you felt when the bell rung, you were done, and you guys were getting the ovation for putting on the match that you had, knowing that you've worked since your father took you to see Austin and Rock to get to a moment like this. Can you kind of just give me your best memory of what that moment felt like?
It's kind of quick, honestly, because as an extra with Lance, it was only 90 seconds, and I knew what they needed me to do. And Lance was one of my mentors, and I told him, I'll go out there and do whatever you need me to. So the Dynamite debut was cool because it was actually in front of a crowd for the first time in a long time. And it was there at Daly's place where we had been recording everything, and it was special to us all. So the 90 seconds I was going to get, I didn't care because I had worked my ass off for those 90 seconds. Plus, for 90 seconds, I got a really nice paycheck. Thank you, Tony Khan. The Elevation one, I think I have more of a feeling for that because it was a 15-minute, like, full-on war with Joey Janela. And this is the guy that I had watched on the indies all the way up until the time that I had gotten to AEW. And I was like, I know what this guy brings to the table. But Sonny, his manager, was really good with me and good friends. And we had been wanting to have a match with each other for a while. So when B-Cage put me over, Sonny did too. And they said, cool, we'll put him with Joey. And the match was awesome. Afterwards, I didn't get to, lay there and take in the moment too long. But I did get to just like sit on the outside afterwards. And even though looking up into the ring, like seeing him getting his hand raised and everything, there was acknowledgement there. Because I remember looking up and seeing him look back down, like, who's that guy? Like, where the hell did he come from? Like, and they even get it on like the screen. But in that moment, it was like an acknowledgement for me, like, cool, I can hang with him. He's hanging with everybody else. I got this in the bag. Let's do it. And I think that was the biggest thing I took away from either one of those, was I just did that on national television.
Yeah.
We got this in the bag.
Man.
Let's go.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, that's
it was a surreal feeling. It really was.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. I don't give myself enough credit sometimes. She gets onto me for it. She's like, "You've done some cool stuff." And I'm like, "I ain't done enough yet." I'm like, "I got more. I 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 got more."
I mean, a testament to your drive and to your love for what you do. So yeah, no, that makes it. But she's not wrong. You need to give yourself more credit than you do. But that keeps you hungry. That keeps you hungry.
Yeah,
and
I
that
agree.
Makes sense. And that makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah. And then, well, not only giving yourself more credits, but also let's not gloss over the fact that you've held championships in several different promotions, right? And then, the one that really got me upset was that latest one with AJ Francis, because I went in there really thinking that you were going to win that one. And I was really heartbroken with it. But hey, as a fan, I get it. I'm sure you'll get it back at some point. And
as Roman Reigns said, pay attention.
Yeah.
We're about to take you guys for a ride.
There you go. Yeah. So, but on the same tone of the championships, right? Is there any one title that you've won that holds like a special place in your heart or means the most to you?
I have been very fortunate to get to hold some for different companies in different states, and I have kind of lost track. But the one that I think means the most to me is one that I just had recently, and it's kind of fitting because we're here talking about AJ. Mm-hmm. That reality wrestling championship meant everything to me. When I was on the indies wrestling, I was wrestling the Row guys everywhere on the indies, and they were like, "You need to come to Row. You need to come to Row. You need to come to Row. You should be at Row. Why are you not at Row?" And it just so happened it just was never there. Me and Kevin were just never able to make dates work, or things just never lined up right. And I still think to this day it was a timing thing, because I think if I would have came in too early, it may not have had as much of a meaning for me. The impact wouldn't be as big. When I came in, my very first match was against Clay Roberts, and it was in a time limit draw match. He had 10 minutes, get a pin, submission, and it was for the Reality Wrestling Television Championship. Mm-hmm. And this is 2.5-ish years ago. I still had short hair. I didn't even have anywhere near the long hair. Went in, I had that match with him, and I didn't go back for 6 months. Finally got the call back, and they were like, "All right, let's see what you got." And before they even put me back to where I was starting at, I see it all now, and I've seen it, of course, whenever I got the title, but I see it all now, and I look back and I'm like, man, Booker T knows what he's doing. Like, yeah, man's a genius. And I look back and I go, I wouldn't have brought me back after 6 months either and put me right back in it either. I wanted to see if I got better or if there's still stuff I need to work on, and that's what he was doing. And he tested me. He put me in matches with different people over and over and over again, and then finally pulled me back to Clay. The Reality Wrestling Television Championship was the very first match I ever had at Reality Wrestling, and it was for that title, and it meant so much to me that when I finally got to come back to Clay, he had the title. Him and Eric had been going back and forth. Eric had just dropped it to him. Him and I had a match, DQ finish, then we had the triple threat. All the fun stuff happens, and then finally at the end, I finally get all of it back. I finally won the title that I came to Reality Wrestling fighting for. But day one, fitting, made sense. And, honestly, it was one thing too where I won that title and I felt like my dreams had come true, and I felt like I coasted a little bit. And I think that's kind of where, I know it's hard to say that to yourself too, especially when you're a champion, right? Or whenever you say you want to do this professionally, but sometimes whenever you reach that goal you've been chasing for so long, you just kind of coast a little bit. I think that's what I did. I got complacent. I was like, oh, I'm the champ. And I was proving it still. But I wasn't always doing everything outside of road that I could have done to be a champ. And I see a lot of that. And looking back, knowing now that I don't have that championship and that AJ's got it, I have the fire burning again. But round two now, I know the mistake not to make. You got to go through a mistake to learn not to make it again, right? You got to do something bad to understand that it's bad. But I made a mistake the first time, and AJ, I ain't making it a second.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
That's right. See that? Well, see, so we feel that hunger. We feel it, and we spoke about it before, your drive and your want to maintain. I'm assuming, you told us single mom, 2 boys. I'm assuming in the beginning that a lot of your drive comes from that too, like saying that she can do this and what she did to make sure that she raised two good sons. And you said only GTV was allowed in the house, stuff like that. Outside of your mom, who I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, I hope I'm not, that she's a motivation. How else do you keep your desire? Do you keep that fire in you burning to make sure that every day that you get up, you're better than you were the day before?
I think the biggest thing for me is, for my family, we've never really had anything. Um, we had a ranch when we were younger. We grew up on a farm. Um, I've done the whole farm living, and it was great. But when everything goes away and you don't have it anymore, and you're literally like, oh wait, we've hit ground like rock bottom. Like, I think for me, it's you know, changing that for my family. It's great to see what she's been able to do for her family because of what she's been able to accomplish. And I tell her all the time, I'm very proud of her for that. And it's one of those things that I know it's coming for me. It's just in that moment where you got to like tough it out, keep going. It's coming. That for me is what keeps me going, is that generational change. I want to break that standard. I
Yeah.
don't want people to look back and go, we barely had anything and life wasn't as great as it could have been. I want to be able to take my mom on whatever vacation she wants to. Hey, mom, where you want to go this week? Okay, cool. I'll take care of it. Go have fun. Like, I want to be able to call my brother and be like, hey, man, instead of going to work this week, how about I send you a little bit, take the family out, I'll cover it. Y'all go have fun. I want to be able to take her to any vacation she wants to, just me and her, that she's something she would like to do. I would love to do those things. Where I'm at on the indies, I live nice, yes. It's not superstardom, and I'm not looking to be superstardom. I'm looking to enjoy wrestling, and whatever wrestling gives me, then I'm going to take it. But I want to break that generational curse for my family. I want to be able to say, hey, mom, don't worry about nothing. I got you. Hey, fam, you need something? I got you. Let's take care of it. That's what keeps me going.
That's awesome, man. I feel like that's something that we all try to strive for, no matter what background and
The blue collar worker, man, they don't get enough respect. Everyone thinks you have to have the fame and everything, right? Like, oh, fame is all that matters in this world. Social media, you gotta have followers. And
right.
the blue collar worker doesn't get enough respect. They work every day harder than most of us, and they will forever be working like that most of the time because of the day and age we live in. And it's sad to see 60 and 70-year-old people having to work as hard as they have for that long because of the economy. That's a whole nother subject, but yeah, it's the blue collar worker just does not get enough respect.
Yeah. Yeah, no, agreed. But okay, so just switch gears up a little bit, right? So it's no secret that you and Red Velvet, are an item, right?
Mm-hmm.
And are both active wrestlers in the wrestling world. So how does that come into play when it comes to balancing the personal life that you guys have, but then also the grind of wrestling? Like, she's off one week and you go somewhere else another week. Like, how does that work out?
Um, Honestly, I think we handle it pretty easily. We handle it with grace. My schedule is usually on the weekends. Her schedule is usually during the week. Um, they usually do their tapings on Thursdays. Or I'm sorry, they usually do their tapings on Saturdays. So when I'm gone, I'm usually gone 1 or 2 days, and she's gone 1 or 2 days. If we match on the same day, cool. We're gone the exact amount of time. We're home. It's just like normal. We just both went to work. During the week, if she's going to go do tapings on a Thursday for Collision or anything, or ROH, or if she's going for Dynamite, it's usually a Tuesday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday thing. So she's gone during the week. I'm home, get my stuff done, come home. I may get to see her for 24 hours, and then I'm gone for the weekend. And that's just the way it is. We've gotten to a point now where we understand that we both have goals, we both have dreams, and both of us support that. And I think the support in that is really what keeps us being able to move forward. I don't see myself with anyone else. I don't think she sees herself with anyone else. And we've shown that to each other in our own ways.
Yeah.
I think anything is possible in relationships, right? I think people just give up sometimes. You just got to find that person that doesn't want to give up on you. And I think we finally found that. But we both understand time may be limited some weeks, but that's not a bad thing. We're both chasing dreams. We're both young still. I mean, I'm 36, yeah, but I feel like I'm 22, man. I'm in my, I'm not even saying my prime. I think my prime's still yet to come. People are doing things longer. Medical science is getting so much more advanced. The things I do now to take care of my body, to not feel the pain, which is crazy after 804 matches, even if you did that at freaking 3 bumps a match, that's freaking 2,400 bumps that my body has consumed, and I don't feel like I've taken them. So I don't think that there's any reason I couldn't wrestle another 10, 15 years. So
yeah,
we take care of ourselves, and we understand where everyone's at. We both got goals, dreams, and we both support that. I think that's what matters, and that's what keeps things going for us, just the support.
That's healthy. That's as healthy as a relationship as I've heard. Like, as long
the
as
healthiest one I've ever been in, man. I will tell you that.
Yeah, we've all had some clunkers, man. And when you,
brother,
like, I'm 45. I've had clunkers for, like, I got married 3 years ago. I think I waited a long time because I just didn't find it, and I finally did. And like you, it's supporting, it's being behind each other. All those things to make yourselves as a unit stronger. And just and that love just exists. Staying on what you were just talking about, your personal goals, and both of you having goals. It's easy for me to sit here and say, "What are your goals?" Because we know, you want to hold something in a major promotion and things like that. So instead of asking, "What are your goals?" how about, where do you see yourself 2 years? 2 years doing the work that you've done. Do you see, hopefully, that you'll be seeing more opportunities, or like you said, you make a nice living on the indies, and as long as there's no rock in the waves, you're cool doing what you're doing and taking opportunities as they come?
I definitely don't want to stay on the indies. I'll tell you that. I like the indies, but I think my time on the indies is coming up.
Right.
The next 2 years, especially seeing what I'm doing at Reality Wrestling and seeing what and who specifically Reality Wrestling is working with, there's 2 parties, TNA and NXT, WWE. In 2 years, I don't see why Chandler Hopkins is not signed to NXT and or TNA.
There you go. I
just don't see why. I don't.
I would love to see that. Yeah.
That's it.
I'm not gonna lie. TNA would, I think, feel like home to me. I've been there several times. I've had explosion matches now. The talent's getting to know me. I have friends there that want me there. Tommy now knows and watches, and I've made good impressions. There's a reason I'm in matches with AJ Francis immediately after my explosion match there at TNA. There's a reason.
Yeah.
Not just because AJ wants the Reality Wrestling Television Championship, but I believe there's a bigger and deeper reason. And the next 2 years, there's no reason at all. There's no reason at all why Chandler Hopkins should not be signed to NXT and or TNA.
Okay, wait. Part B to that question: dream matches, and then we can wrap up. Like, what would be the dream match?
At NXT, dream match.
However you want to play it. It could be, current.
Well, we doing? Are we doing past, present, future?
Whatever you want. You could give us.
We'll keep it with current.
Okay.
We'll keep it with current
parameters. All right.
All right.
Just because we're talking to the 2. I mean, if we're going to go with all-time dream match, we already have talked about 2 of them, and I can't ever pick between them. Rock and Shawn Michaels. That would be the all-time Shawn. If I could have a match with Shawn Michaels, before he ever left, if I could get to NXT, make a big enough impression on Shawn Michaels, he was like, I want to do something with you. Last thing ever in the ring. Let's make it happen. Childhood fanboy dream would be accomplished. If I never did anything else in wrestling afterwards, I'd say thank you so much, Shawn Michaels, for giving me that memory. I will be on my way now. Thank you. Dream match, absolutely, 100%. I think Shawn. In today's world, if I was going to have to go to TNA or NXT, if I went to TNA, that's easy for me because I've known him for a while and I've respected his grind and where he came from and how he bounced back. Santana.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Love Santana.
Yeah.
He is. I've seen that drive since he was in TNA when I wrestled him and Ortiz, basically in a handicap match because my partner at the time, we were doing walkthroughs as to what we wanted to do, and he tweaked his knee, ended up actually tearing his ACL. So he sat on the apron the entire time and did one thing. Why I wrestled both of them. And it was honestly one of the coolest experiences ever. So Santana at TNA, no doubt. NXT, I think most people would say Trick just because he's the top guy. I don't think I would say Trick. I think he's great. I think he is. But for me, I think it's got like a deeper meaning because TNA was something I had always watched, TNA and Impact, and I've never got to wrestle Wesley. So if I went to NXT, I think the dream match for me now would be Wesley.
That'd be so good, man. Oh,
so.
Wow.
So
like these are amazing choices.
Let's make them happen, baby.
Yeah,
y'all click the like button, share, subscribe.
All of it.
Let's have some fun.
Man.
Well, speaking of that, Chandler, you know, we've you know, taken up enough of your time, I feel like. So we're not trying to cut you off, but want to give you a minute to share your IG, your Twitch, your platforms, anything that you have. Please plug away. Take as much time as you like. What you have just done for us is taken two wrestling fans on such a ride that the grins will not come off our faces for quite some time. So please take your time. Let everyone know where, how, contact this, that. Please. The floor is yours.
So if you want to follow me on Instagram, which that seems to be everyone's favorite platform other than TikTok, which I do have a profile. They're all the same, okay? The Chandler Hopkins. Mighty. You can find me there. Sometimes TikTok's a little finicky and it makes you put in one of my older ones, and you might have to type in the young gun on that one. Other than that, Twitch. I Twitch stream all the time. I'm actually still done here. Going to be kind of getting them ready to that. I got to go get this party thing going out in the front, and then I'm going to come back in here in a few, and I'll be Twitch streaming as well. You can follow me on Twitch if you'd like to at Capt, so short for Captain, CAPT, Capt _pew_. And that's where you can find me on all them socials. You can find, if you want to watch me on YouTube, just type in Chandler Hopkins Wrestling. Just piles of it pops up. So.
Wow. Well, Chandler, listen, let me start off by saying that this was fantastic. It was so much fun. We learned so much, and I'm if you haven't caught this yet, I'm the mushy one out of the both of us. So like when you were talking, when we were asking about you and Red, like I literally texted my wife. I was like, I love you. Thank you for supporting me.
You're welcome, wife.
Yes, because that's you're right. You're right. And it's a beautiful.
You bought him a lot of favor right there, Chandler.
Yeah. Well, I just bought you a couple more podcasts, man. I'm just saying. No. I'm glad that not that I made you do that, of course, because you had to do it, but I'm glad it made you think of that. They're special, and I don't think any man that's got a girl, married, significant or whatever, man, trust me, keeping them happy in the right ways. And I'm not saying just go throw money at them, because that doesn't buy happiness. I promise you. Keep them happy in the right ways, and she'll keep you happy as well, man.
That's it.
There you go, man.
That's it. But, never have truer words been spoken, man. Never.
Hey, happy wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life, man. But again, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. And we are gonna be watching close. We're gonna be following. We want to see this 2-year declaration that we just spoke about.
Let's make it.
It's a 2-year plan. It's a 2-year plan.
2-year plan.
It's a 2-year plan.
We're on it now. That's it.
Yeah. It's a 2-year promise.
There you go.
Promise.
Yeah,
2-year
even
promise.
better.
Screw this
Even
plan.
better.
It's a 2-year promise.
Yeah,
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, bro. But again, thank you so much. We know you have to go set up and do your thing.
Oh, you're
You
good,
got,
man.
you got
million
things to do.
thanks.
We're sorry, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. No,
We
it's
can't
been
thank you
fun.
enough. We can't thank you enough.
Yeah, they'll be all right. I'll be out there when I get there and we'll get things going. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate
thank
you guys.
them profusely on our behalf. To tell them that we're sorry we took up a little extra of your time, but we truly appreciate you. We love her.
No worries.
Like everything is great. You're fantastic once again from the bottom of our hearts, our souls, everything we got. Thank you. You are a genuine, true, good person, man. I can see that from here. Yeah, exactly. Captain Pew Pew, like, let's do it. 2-year promise. Ladies and gentlemen, Chandler Hopkins. It's not a plan. It's a promise. It's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard it here on Primos for Life.
Yeah.
Let's get it, baby.
There you go. All right, Chandler. Well, thank you again. You have yourself a wonderful evening, sir.
Y'all too, gentlemen. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
See you later.
Gracias, hermano. Take care. Man, that guy
I feel like
awesome.
these interviews these interviews just get better and better, man. I like, oh my god, like, wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, man. His story is awesome. I'm glad he cleared up a whole bunch of stuff. Man, the internet's just a bunch of liars, bro. They don't be telling the whole story.
I'm looking things over and I'm like, man, that's right. That's right. Your first when you were like, Oklahoma, and he was like, well, and then you kept going. I was like, nope. The man said no. The man said no.
My bad.
Sorry. But what an episode, Primo. What an episode, man.
Yeah, man.
It was awesome.
I'm super glad that we were able to connect with him and hear his story. And we even got a little surprise guest of Red Velvet in the background. That was pretty awesome.
So I'll take a wave from Red Velvet anytime.
Anytime.
No, man,
but yeah, man. No, final thoughts. It was fantastic. I can't wait to wrap this up and put it out to the world, man, because we got a lot of great feedback from our other interview with Steve Mack. And oh man, I can't wait to put this one out too, man. And we got so much more coming down the line, and everything's moving in the right direction.
Let's not forget also, Nikki and CJ, they were fantastic when they came on. Like everybody who's been on has been absolutely just wonderful. And like, we can't thank everybody enough for the time that they've given us. If you've spent a little bit of time on the microphone with us, like, we truly love y'all for it. And I think today was another great show in terms of learning some of the intricacies, the back and front of what goes on. And it was also nice to see that humbling moment of him, just speaking about him and his lady, and just, what that means. It's, it's nice. It's refreshing to see, these guys who take these bumps and do all these things and get smacked around by guys twice their size or what have you, to just kind of still be that mush who's like, I love her. She makes me happy and I work hard for her. And that's great.
Yeah, man. I'm super, super excited. But that was fantastic. I can't wait to follow up with him, and hopefully, we'll reconnect at a later point. But Primo, as always, I don't have any final thoughts. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with new. But I think you're trying to set me up for something. So on that note, I will say is, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we wholeheartedly thank you from the bottom of our hearts for liking, listening, following, clicking, Instagramming, pulling me over at the bar, stuff like that. Like it's awesome. And it, like I said in the last episode, it helps us keep going and want to keep doing it and trying to get better at it every day. And we hope these interviews are starting to show that we're working towards progress. And like Eddie said, a bunch of things coming down the pipeline. So just please follow, share, like, click, everything you can. Play and turn the volume down if you don't want to hear about wrestling, but just, you still want to support. That's how you can do that. Eddie's on the horn. He's working on stuff. We got things happening. So please just stay tuned. We love you. We need you. We adore you. We thank you. So in that vein, we will see you when we see you.
We will see you when we see you. Take care, everybody.